Hey friends, it's Natalia and welcome back to She Makes 31. In today's video, I'm sharing an ultimate front yard and landscaping makeover. Watch as we transform this dead and weed-infested lawn and garden bed into a beautiful green and lush landscape. To get things started, I used some Roundup weed killer on the lawn. I had gone a few weeks without watering it just because I was planning on doing this, so I wanted to kill off the remaining weeds with this glyphosate, which is the generic version of Roundup, and then I waited another week before I started doing the sod. In the meantime, I had this lychee tree that I had at the front yard, and it didn't have any kind of landscaping around it or anything like that, so I wanted to make a tree ring around it. So I tied this rope to the trunk of the tree and got some spray paint. I would recommend using marking spray paint so that you can clearly see it. I had a hard time seeing this color, but that way you get an even circle all around, and then you can dig up with a shovel your circle to prepare for edging and for the stones that will go around it. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure that you hit the subscribe button before you leave and the notification bell so that you can watch more videos just like this. Now that my tree ring is formed, I went ahead and pulled off all the weeds that were remaining and used a rake to get all the debris and leaves out. Guys, I am so exhausted, but the edging is finally on. This edging, I would not recommend it. It's the cheapest kind for a reason. You have to dig like a little trench for it to go into, and Noah decided to pull it out like when I wasn't looking, and so I had to start all over again. But we put these pavers around just to see, you know, what it would kind of look like, and of course Noah got ahead of me too. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and try and like level out the sand here, like push it up against this, and I just level it out with my hand and then place the paper right there. So guys, I had to give up on that other edging. I just could not get it to look good, so I got this stuff, which is what I should have gotten to begin with. So easy to install, and it doesn't stick out like the other one was just sticking out. So it was like really tall, and I just could not dig it deep enough because of like branches and stuff from the tree. So yeah, now I'm gonna actually put some cardboard. I'm gonna cut it to size and like put it on as a weed barrier, because this is a really good alternative to the landscaping fabric. Now that some time has passed since I filmed this video, I would definitely recommend going with the cardboard as opposed to the landscaping fabric. I used the landscaping fabric on the flower bed and I still had some weeds come up, but with this cardboard it was like no weeds at all. So I would definitely recommend, if you can get your hands on some cardboard, to use that as your weed barrier. It works really, really well. So after I put the cardboard down, I went ahead and put some water on it, sprayed it down so that it could kind of just put some weight on it before I laid my mulch down. I used some brown mulch. I just really liked the color. I thought it went really well with the color of the house and just the overall look that I was going for. When you're putting mulch around your tree, you want to make sure not to overdo it. They call it like a mulch volcano. You've probably seen this, where there's like a mountain of mulch right by the tree trunk. And that's actually not the best for your tree, because you want some of the lower roots to kind of show through so that they can air out and get some sun that your tree needs. So when you're covering that up, it kind of doesn't allow for the tree to get as much sun as it would and breathe properly. So make sure that you leave some of those bottom, roots exposed, the main ones, and cover your mulch, I would say about a couple inches thick. Next, we worked on the flower bed. We actually moved the plants that were here to the side of the house where they would be in a shady area. These are meant to be shady, not full sun plants, so they actually did really, really well on the side of the house. And here's our little Noah. You guys know he loves to help. This boy is not afraid of hard work. Okay, be careful. Back up, honey. Wow, look at that. What?
It didn't break apart by me, okay?
What? Look how strong you are.
Yeah, it's really heavy.
Good job.
Almost.
Give me a high five. Give me a high five. Ow! You guys, Noah was working with us just as hard. He was out there every single day that we were, and he was just such a great help. So if you want to give Noah a shout out in the comments, let me know. I'll read them to him. Here I'm just removing the rest of the edging that was here because I did want to make this flower bed a little bit bigger. They had some scalloped edging and some plastic edging in here, so I dug it all out and started with a clean slate. Okay, so we took out all of the plants that were in the bed and we just flattened out the soil. Now I'm just going to hose it down with some water and just try and get it to settle down some. So I have a roll of the landscaping fabric that I mentioned earlier, and this is what I used for my flower beds. I rolled it out, and then I also used some staples, landscaping pins actually, to hold this down. After we laid out the landscaping fabric, we went ahead and got the no-dig landscape edging that I used around the tree ring and put it on the garden bed. We chose to do like 32-inch garden bed, distance from the wall, and we kept it consistent with our tape measure as we were laying it down. I got these pavers here at Lowe's and I laid them out in a pattern where they kind of interlock with each other. I like just the way that this looks, and I feel like it gave less gaps for weeds to come through. Now that I had my plants placed where I wanted them, I got some garden soil, some pulverized lime, and some cow manure and compost. I was using these to make sure that our plants were going to be well fed. I went ahead and cut the landscaping fabric and started digging the hole where my plants were going to go.
Ew.
Ew.
Yeah, cow poop. It's just like my poop, right?
No.
Ew.
Not at all like
Ew. Ew.
Kids are so funny, guys. I had to include that in there because we just thought it was so funny. Anywho, we went ahead and started digging, and after that, that's where I added a handful of my fertilizers, like my compost and my manure, cow poop, and some of the lime. And then I didn't do it the first time around here, but you should put water in the earth, in the ground, before you put your plant in. After you put your plant in, then you can go ahead and use the flaps from the landscaping fabric to put over your plant to kind of like seal it off before you put the mulch on top. So we ran into a little problem, or rather a big problem, when we were going to put in one of our plants. We ran into a humongous coral rock, so my husband had to go in with that little jackhammer and just chomp at it as much as he could, and we just were able to chip it enough for the plant to be able to go in the ground. Alright, so here is a week after we had put the Roundup down. We got this tiller and we were tilling the soil to make sure that anything that was still alive would be pulled up. That way we can pull all the weeds out. I did not want any weeds in my lawn. I got this beautiful Saint Augustine palmetto sod, and it was just so fresh. It was just nice and green and dark soil. And here's just what it looks like. We went ahead and raked everything that we could off, and whatever remained on the ground was basically just all dead, debris. Before we laid down our sod, we used this Malorganite fertilizer. We threw it down and it makes everything so green, guys. I would definitely recommend this fertilizer. I learned about it through this YouTube channel that I've been following called The Lawn Care Nut. Alan Hain. He is amazing, guys. If you need help with your lawn, you can learn so much from his channel. I kind of got obsessed with my lawn. I know it's usually a guy thing, but I learned so much with his channel that I became like obsessed with my lawn. So here we're laying out the sod, and we did it in a checkerboard pattern. Whatever holes we had, we used the machete to cut the sod and fill in the holes. As we laid out the sod, we made sure we kept on watering it because it's super important to keep it hydrated. I just feel so beautiful right now. But look, it's green, yay! This was the next morning. We actually ran out of sod, so we had to get a half a pallet to fill in the rest of the yard. We left this half pallet out in the sun a little too long, so it did get a little yellow, but we did constant watering and some Malorganite on top of it, and in just a couple weeks it was just as green as everything else. Okay, so we laid out the sod, and now we're trying to decide what to do with these trees. So there's nothing there, and then there's these two trees that are like super close together, and they're not growing well because of it. One is a Mickey Mouse plant, they call it, and then the other one is a pomegranate tree, I guess. So we're gonna move this Mickey Mouse plant, put it on that corner, so we're gonna have to take the sod out of there. That way we'll have like an even, like 3 shrubs, and it'll look better that way. Here's the spot that we decided to put the other shrub in. We made sure that we dug it real deep, kept it watered really, really well, and then planted it. And to finish off, we added some of the mulch around the shrubs and around along the fence. We didn't put the sod all the way up against the fence because it's actually hard when you're using your trimmer to get around the chain link fence. So we decided that the mulch would be easier and keep the weeds at bay. Because there was no sprinkler system here, we actually used some sprinklers that you can attach to a hose, and we just constantly watered. You want to make sure that when you first lay down that sod that you just water it, and water it. We let it grow a bit before we did the first trim, and here we started doing the edging. We've actually put mulch down on the flower bed at this point, and some light fixtures that are like solar LED paneled landscaping lights, which are really nice at night. I'll show you guys that at the end. But here is some satisfying landscape edging. I love doing this. I know it's weird, but I just love the clean look of a nicely, just freshly trimmed lawn. Unfortunately, the Mickey Mouse shrub did not make it, as you can see there. We just tried, watering it, feeding it, but it just did not do well after we transferred it. We added some 16 by 16 pavers that you saw there to expand the driveway. The grass that was right by the driveway was actually getting run over all the time. When we get out of our car, we'd constantly be stepping on it, and it left a big hole in the lawn. So in order to fix that, we put these pavers down, and that way we had an area to step on and we weren't ruining the grass that was there. And guys, this is my favorite part. It's like vacuum lines, but it's on your lawn. Anyway, we have this Greenworks electric lawnmower. This is a relatively small yard, so we weren't looking for something gas powered because it's not really necessary. We've since moved, and I will say this is one of the things that I miss the most, is having this lawn to take care of. It becomes kind of like, your baby. You kind of just take care of your plants. You go outside, you water your plants, you cut your grass, and it's just satisfying. It's hard work and you sweat your butt off, but it looks so good at the end. And not only that, but we got the satisfaction of dominating our neighbors' yards. So yeah, it feels pretty good. I know that sounds funny, but if you'll watch the Lawn Care Nuts channel, you'll know what I'm talking about. Here I am trimming these plants. This is actually tropical milkweed. I did not realize how fast these caterpillars would eat this. They tore it up, and so I was just trimming it back. But we got lots of beautiful butterflies out of this, guys. So if you're into that, I would definitely recommend these plants. I never really had much of a green thumb before, but I really wanted to learn more about this, and it became quite therapeutic. Just going outside, getting some vitamin D, watering your plants and your lawn. It just feels so good to see the results of all your hard work. Alright guys, here is the final result. This is what everything ended up looking like. After I filmed this, we started the rainy season here in South Florida, and let me tell you, these plants have doubled in size. They have gotten so beautiful and full and lush. And here's one last look of the lawn in the daytime, and then the view at night is so nice with all the landscaping lights on. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some ideas, inspiration, and motivation for your own lawn. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!